Fresh Squeeze Noise, Eurorack patch 9. So the normal setup here, I have my two ABCs from Bastl going out to my mixer, and then I have the Circadian Rhythm clocking the Tempi. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the channels from the Tempi and go into the clock in of the micro sequence. Then I'm going to hit run. I'm going to divide this up. So it's a very slow clock. I'm going to take the output pitch and go into the 1 volt per octave of Braids. And then I'm going to take the output of that and go into the dub junior. I'll take the output of dub junior and go into the mixer. I'm actually going to take this output from the Tempi and go into a multiplier, and then I'm going to take the output of that and go right back into the clock. But then I can take the output from the multiplier and I can go into maths. So this is all on the same tempo. I'm going to take the output from number 1 of maths and go into the color input of Braids. I'm going to take one of the outputs of the Circadian Rhythm and go into the trigger in of the snare. And then I'm going to take the output of the snare and go into the reverb from Audio Damage. Then I'm going to take that straight out and go to the mixer. Now in 64 mode, I'm going to add some steps and I'm going to start the loop. Now I'm going to take the output of channel 1 of peaks and go to the mixer so I can kind of play around with my kick drum. Now I'm going to take one of the Circadian Rhythm outputs and go into the trigger 1 of peaks. Now I'm going to add a couple steps. So I'm going to actually take a step back here. I'm going to take the output from Braids and go into the binary filter from Pittsburgh and go out of that into the reverb. Now I'm going to take one of the channels out of Circadian Rhythm and go into the trigger input of the hi-hat, and then I'm going to take the output of that and go into clouds, and then from there I'll take the output of that and go into the mixer. Now I'm going to add some steps. Now I'm going to take one more of the outputs of Circadian Rhythm and go into the X clock of Renee, and I'll switch to that channel and just add some steps. Now I'm going to take the quantized out of that and go into the 1 volt per octave of STO, and then I'm going to take the output of that and go output of the sub of that and go into the mixer. I'm actually going to take the output of that and go into the other filter I have. Then I'm going to take that output and go into the other input of Braids. And then I'm going to take that output and go into the mixer. Then I'm going to take one of the other outputs from the maths and go into the CV input of our filter. Now I'm going to take one more of the outputs from Circadian Rhythm and go into the trigger input of the DSM, and I'll switch to that and add just a couple steps. Then I'm going to take the output of that and go to the mixer. So somewhat of an ambient patch. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you like what you see and want to see more, please subscribe. And until next time, thanks.